So this is digitization part 4 for Photoshop only. So in the last video we figured out how to do the flats, and this time I'm definitely going to be using my Wacom tablet to do a couple things, which you'll see as the video progresses. Now that my flats are finished, I want to just do a couple different things. The first one is that with my Wacom tablet properly set up, is I'm going to select the magic wand tool, which you can click by clicking W on your keyboard, and make sure that you're using not the quick selection tool but the magic wand tool. And I'm going to unclick contiguous, and this will allow me to select from the layer that I'm on, which is the flats layer, all of the color that's the same. So like, let's say I made all of the background purple, or I wanted to select all of his hair, but it was all over the place. I could just click on one piece of the hair, and without contiguous on, it would allow me to select all of that color that's in the entire piece on that layer, if that makes sense to you. So the next thing that I want to do is that's something I need to know how to do. That'll come into play in a minute. Control D will deselect, or select, deselect. Now I'm going to create a duplicate of that layer by right-clicking on the flats layer and duplicating the layer. This is going to come in handy now for the second one. And then I'm going to lock my flats layer, and I'm going to rename the flats layer, flats copy layer, to colors. You want to have two duplicates of this because your flats selections will it'll make sense in a second. So on my color layer now, I'm going to choose B. I'm going to select with Alt. I can select the color that I had chosen for the flats, and then I can make it a lighter color. Let's say a light color like this. Now, if I just go straight in color on it, if I just go straight in color on it, because I don't have a brush that I like yet, I want to right-click and select this the feathered brush tool, and I want to increase my size quite a bit with my bamboo pen. Depending on how hard I brush in, I can do smaller to thicker lines. I want to change the opacity of this brush down to, I don't know, 40–30%, or we'll see why. And I'm actually going to shrink this brush down a little bit, and now I'm going to kind of start identifying where all the light sources are on his face. So I'm literally taking all where I know all the bumps are, and I know the light's coming in from this direction because the inks are indicating that this side is dark because the light is strongly coming in this way over his back right shoulder. So I'm literally taking these colors, and if you want to remember to go back to your flats, and you can select this. That way you don't color outside of that color, that selection of that color. And I'm going to relock my flats, and on my colors layer I'm just going to brush in my lighter color, like I said, and I'm only identifying where my highlights are. So now I have some range of color, and then I can even go in and select a really dark color and start identifying where the browns are going to be for my shadows, or the parts of the piece that are farther away. Now, you could end this way, deselect, and I'll zoom out, and you could end kind of there if you wanted to, but I don't consider this done. There's another thing that you can do with the lasso tool. So I have this lasso, and if you wanted like a harsher shadow, you could select individual sections. I'm holding down Shift to select those different sections, and you could come in and increase your opacity with the dark brown, and really just kind of throw some of those shadows in, and feel free to mess around with things like as you see fit. There's no like right or wrong way to do these colors, but you can do pretty much a lot of different things with switching between the lasso tool and this kind of trick. Now, one of the things that I love to do, because I don't feel like this is done. I actually don't like I don't particularly like finishing with this kind of thing where this is kind of the only coloring that I would do, because I still don't feel like there's texture on his face as much as I'd like there to be. And so when I get done with doing this kind of makeshift quick highlight and repeat kind of thing, I'm going to do something. I really don't like this part, so I'm going to recolor it here. My lasso tool, I'm going to go like this, and I'm going to get in this side of the nostril, deselect, and then kind of. Now if I'm going fast, remember I made this video so that you could kind of slow down and see what I'm working on, and how quickly I'm working on it. I realize is kind of tough. You know, another thing that you can really do as you're working, you're going to get a sense for this. I mean, I painted a lot, and it really does help to have some experience painting. But let's say I don't feel like that highlight's even enough. I might pick an even lighter. Again, drop that opacity down to here, and kind of come in like this, and kind of add some, you know, some shine to his face, just to give it kind of a like a bit of a glimmer. Now, like I said, once you get through this, you could that's all you could probably, you know, you have to do to get your piece ready. But I'm going to show you my special trick that I really love, that I kind of stole from a lot of other artists, and kind of repurposed and done it myself, which was that I'll go to Creative Commons, creativecommons.org, and I'll go to this, and what I love about Creative Commons is they have images and files that you can use and repurpose for your own artwork, so you're not like stealing. So for Flickr, I'll click on Flickr on the CC search, and it'll mean that I'll get all of it. Google does the same thing, so but I like Flickr because it usually gives some high quality. So I'm going to look for watercolor textures, and I'm going to go find one that I really think is close enough to a skin tone that I kind of like it. So this one kind of works. Maybe I'll even do this one down here because I kind of like this color. So I'm going to look at it big. I'm going to do full screen. Oh, exit full screen. I'm going to do view all sizes, and then I'm going to go to the original size, and it's freaking a monster. So what I'm going to do here is right click, save image as, and I'm going to go to the folder. I'll just put it on my desktop. The folder you were working on, I would suggest putting in there, and I'll be like Thor watercolor texture, and I'll hit enter. And then what I'm going to do now is I'm going to hit file, open, and go to my desktop and get that Thor watercolor texture. I'm going to select a portion of it from here, see, and then I'm going to click here, and I can zoom out. See, it kind of filled up everything. So I'm going to hit Control T to transform, and I'm going to shrink this down to his face, right around his face size, and then I can kind of turn it off for now. Then I'm going to go back to my flats layer here. I'm going to unlock, use my wand tool, select that area again, turn this watercolor layer back on, and then I'm going to go down here and click mask, and it will literally repurpose the selection of the entire watercolor to that area. I love masks. They make my life very happy. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to play with the different kinds of like blendings. So I want to move this over here so I can see it. And we're on normal right now, but watch as I go down, it'll start interacting with the layer beneath it, beneath it. So it'll give me like a lot of different kind of like stuff to play with those colors that I just did. And it gives me kind of, instead of going again, like having that immediately smooth, like rubbery feel to the face that it had before, now I can add in some texture so it looks like he has pores in his skin. So I really like the linear burn or the multiply. I'm gonna go with the linear burn just to kind of get in there, and then I'm gonna drop the opacity here down a little bit, and it kind of gave him some red in his face. It's a little too bright, so one of the things too red. So one of the things I'm gonna do is click on the underlying layer and move this in. Now, if I just move this triangle, it gives you that kind of square effect. If I click Alt and separate it, it's bringing in parts of that. And now I have kind of a facial skin texture that I really dig. Now you can kind of see pores and you can kind of see interactions. Another way of doing this was that I was working on this earlier, and I actually had a completely different approach for it that I did with my class, and this is what this one ended up looking like. So these are the flats that I did, and then as I add the colors on, and I have this interactive. So this time I did a hard light, and then with the colors I kind of added in some scarring, which I only did by taking this brush color here, and when this one was on, I was adding like some different hard lines, like such. Oh, I need to increase the opacity here, but I can, because I can, you can do some you can do a bunch of stuff in there. And if you guys have checked out the new Avengers title by Brian Hickman, the colors there is doing some really interesting stuff with this, and it kind of changes the way that you're like doing things. But I mean, like, obviously Thor doesn't have all those scars on his face because he's a god, but at the same time, like, check out like how that kind of like color tonality gives an impression to your work that's completely different than what you had before. So those are all the steps that I can give you for coloring. Digital painting is just a long process of kind of playing with different textures, experimenting with different things, and this is the process I go through generally for American Boom, or a mixture of it. I kind of do a lot of different things, but yeah, that's what we got. So if you have any questions, feel free to contact us at Little Fish Comic Book Studio, Littlefishcomicbooks@gmail.com.